go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are listening to Newz and Trendz with Dave and Lynn. I am one of your co-hosts, Leonard Young, CEO of National Black Guide, DelawareBlack.com, Black media specialist, and all-around good guy. I'm here with my partner this Friday, Mr. David Coker.
Hey guys, how's everything? This is David Coker, proprietor of Dave Mark Inc., marketing specialist as well, all-around good guy as well, promoter, man about town, Mr. Mayor. You can call me whatever you want to. Just don't call me late for dinner. I'm just going to say that part.
Okay.
So, hey, what's going on, partner? What's happening?
Hey, everything's good. Just excited for the freaking weekend. That's about it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Let's do the weekend, even though looks like we might have some rain over the weekend. Looks like we might have remnants from from what's going on down south. So.
Right.
Prayers out to the families. There's some pretty
some terrible
some parts
stuff
of Florida
down
got
there.
slammed, man.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. So, but hopefully, we didn't lose any lives or whatever the case may be down there in Florida. Thinking about you guys. Okay, but hey, the weekend's here, and we're supposed to be doing a barbecue at my church on Sunday, but I don't know. The rain might get us.
So, are we supposed to get some of that rain?
Yeah, we're supposed to. So we might have to reschedule. That's why I haven't really said a lot about it. So we'll see what happens. I'll make sure I put it out there if we're going to do it. So, all right.
So is this like a free barbecue or what is it?
No, it's actually a fundraiser. But we were going to do our staples, but we were planning on having hot dogs and chicken and sausages and corn on the cob on the grill.
I was just joking when I talked about.
All right, what was that?
A pop-up.
Oh, okay. I thought you were being funny there. I was going to say,
that was a Roland Martin pop-up.
Oh, Roland Martin. Oh, well, he probably wants some barbecue, definitely. But if we're going to do it, believe me, I'll make sure everybody knows about it. It depends on how Saturday looks, and and what's going on. Because of course, don't want to be outside cooking in the rain. So,
no, definitely not.
So, but other than that, everything is cool. The weather, the weather's been interesting. Really changed up on us, right?
Thank you, Jesus. AC
I mean,
off.
It's nice. It's nice.
Air conditioning off.
Though. Yeah. Been cool in the mornings though. But as the day wears on, it gets pretty nice outside. So if it stays just like this, I'd be happy.
Right.
Right. So, but anyway, I just want to remind people about our contest for our reunion show, our anniversary show. Why I say reunion? Woof. like we just done a TV show or something, whatever.
Wait, season 1 is done.
Season
but
1.
But Dave, it would be kind of cool to have a reunion. Can you imagine us having a reunion Zoom where we have all our guests in for the? I mean, we probably have too many guests for the year and probably make it crowded. But if we're able to have like 3 or 4 of our guests on, and
well, you know what, we could probably do that though. That might be something we can do.
See about some updates and like what they've been up to.
Yeah. Maybe that is something we can do soon. Okay. All right. But this is about this particular anniversary show. We're going to have you. We're asking that you guys that listen to us all the time, our faithful listeners all around the country. We want you guys to send us a video if you're telling us why you like listening to the show and why you want to co-host with us on our anniversary show, because the video that we like the best, we're going to have you on as our co-host for our anniversary show on November the 8th,
Yep.
which is our first year anniversary. So please get those videos to us for those that are interested, and those that are not scared to come and hang out with Dave and Lynn. We're going to have a ball. We will look forward to you guys sending those videos in. So, and you can reach out to us. For those that know us personally, you can hit us up on our inboxes, or text us the videos. You can go to our social media pages on Facebook and also Instagram, Newz and Trendz podcast. So, you can find us. Just hit us up. Okay. All right. What we're going to talk about tonight?
Yep. So Dave, tonight we are going to talk about the top 7 most influential women in our lives, or in our lives / during our lifetime. So this can be somebody who, we know personally, or has personally interacted with, or it can be somebody who has affected us from afar. So,
Okay.
we're going to talk about those 7 women, and I'll let you do the honor. You can go first if you want to do, we're going to 2 by 2 until we get to the last one.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to start with my bottom half. Okay. Like I always like to go from bottom to top. So not that it means that any one of these is any less than anybody else. I want to put that caveat out there. But I'm going to start with my number 7 person, which is my sister. I have her on the list because she's always been a person that I've looked up to, even though she probably will be shocked to hear that, because I used to give her such a hard time growing up. She's 2.5 years younger than me. And she always had to follow behind me and be Dave Coker's little sister, that type of thing, And, but she has always inspired me. She's always been like there for a lot of her friends and family. And then people needed her, she was always there for them. She was great with kids. That was her biggest calling. She was always great with kids and always had everybody's kids all the time, watching people's kids, including my especially my daughter. And her and my daughter were like twins. They were always together. And my sister was just, somebody that kids kind of gravitated to. She never had kids of her own because she was one of these people that never wanted to have children, especially and not be married. So she never got married, so she never had kids. But she was always had a bunch of kids around her all the time. And, some of the people from our old neighborhood, there's one particular young lady that her and this young lady just got in touch with each other again after maybe 20, 30 years without talking to each other. And you would swear they never missed a beat. And this was somebody that my sister always had with her all the time, So I have to say, first on my list would be my sister. Okay.
Got it.
Next, I'm gonna go with a celebrity next. The reason I'm gonna say this person is because of the life that she lived, was both an example of what God-given talent can do if you have it and you possess it, but also what having demons can do to you within you if you possess those as well. And that's Miss Whitney Houston.
Okay. I was wondering where you're going with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's strange because I wasn't going to put her on this list, but I put her on there because nobody had a voice like her. She was like she was it was like she just was created and had a voice that was just bigger than everybody else's, more polished, and she could hit notes like nobody else could hit. And to have that much talent but be so conflicted at the same time and have all that was going on within her just made for an interesting story and what can happen when you're on top, but also what can happen when you're on top, if you follow what I mean.
Right, right.
Yeah, because the fall is great, you know. So looking at her story, listening to her life and watching her life, it's hard not to include her in a story. I mean, influential person without talking. It's hard to talk about a subject like this without Whitney Houston's name being in it. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Understood.
Okay. So that's my two to start out.
Okay, so I'm gonna break my list in almost half, and I'm gonna do half people directly related to me, and then the other half is gonna be people that are far. So with that saying, I'm gonna start at the top and go to the bottom. So the most influential person, probably my female, definitely my mother, rest her soul. And I mean, she was just a great person. Now, I will say, she got some attitudes and, she gave it to me every once in a while. But I always remember her for a couple things. One, she was the type to give the shirt off her back. And luckily, even though my parents were divorced, my dad tempered me with the rod, so I never got too much spoiling that I didn't recognize being grateful or getting in trouble or getting my butt whooped. So that's one. And then two, she was just so organized. When she passed away, she had all her stuff in a folder, like everything I needed. And, you always hear stories about, people pass away, you can't find documents and stuff all over the place. She was just organized like that. Her checking account, of course, we don't use checkbooks like that anymore, but her checking account was like, balanced every day. Her credit score was probably an 800. Like she was just that on top of a lot of things. And, those things I strive to be, but, she was just a good person, loved to eat out. And, she had a major impact on my life. So definitely my most influential person. The next person I would say is my grandmother, of course, also passed away. And one of the things about my grandmother, she was definitely from the old school. She considered herself a depression baby. So she was the type of person to reuse aluminum foil. Like after aluminum foil, like she save it, put it to the side, rinse it off, and it get used again. But she was very into the news, very into world events, current events. At dinner, we would always watch the news. They always had the news on all day, and not the entertaining news like the local news. They had like the national news, and now I feel like CNN is kind of entertaining, but back in the day, some of them newscasters were kind of dry. But she just taught me a lot of responsibility as far as how important education is, legacy, wealth building, being cultured, being educated. Those were things that she was very stout on. Summertime when people were playing, I was home reading books and doing book reports. So so I definitely consider her. That's my number two on my list, most influential person to me.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna go with my next one is another person who would be considered a celebrity. Miss Cecily Tyson. even when I wrote this name down, I had to laugh at myself that I was writing it down because I go back to middle school. And I talked about this once before when she passed away recently. They took us on a field trip to go see a movie called Sounder. Remember, a lot of us was like, why are we going to see this movie? Nobody want to see this movie. You know, and Sounder was about, you know, the South, and, you know, there was a lot of prejudice involved. Cecily Tyson was married, and she was married to Robert Hooks, and Robert Hooks Jr. played her son in the movie, you know, and it was just her coming of age story. And I just remember how spellbound most of us were when we watched this movie. And just watching her act, you believe this woman was the woman. You know what I mean? And it's just like, that was the start of a string of movies that I saw her in, and I just was just mesmerized about this woman and her acting. But she also kind of felt familiar, you know, like she was one of your family members, right? You know, that aunt or that grandmother, you know, that could look at you and make you shudder, you know, because of the look she gave you, and, or that you ran from if she was going to hit you because you did something bad. But then if you needed someone to love you, she was that type of person as well. So Cecily Tyson was always somebody that, you know, normally if there was something that she was in, I always wanted to see it. And I just thought she was one of the greatest actresses or actors, period, male or females, that I ever seen in my life. And I was so glad when Obama was in office that Obama got a chance to put that Congressional Medal of Honor around her neck. And I don't know if you remember, he was in awe of her. Do you remember the whole scenario when he did that? He talked about he was so nervous putting this thing around Cecily Tyson's neck because she was one of his favorite actress of all time. And he just felt like he was not worthy of putting this around her neck. That's how much respect he had for her. And so did his wife, you know. So that's my next person, was Cecily Tyson.
I was gonna say real quick, it made me think of the Tyler Perry, Cecily Tyson thing as well.
Yeah, well, he did, you know, he was, you know, that's how he felt about her too. You know that, right?
Yeah,
he was totally in all. He put her in a lot of his stuff.
He was the first person to give her $1 million paycheck for acting in 2007 for one day's work, because he wanted to honor her and make up to her for how badly she was underpaid in her career.
Yeah, she was treated. She every time she acted, Leonard, almost everything she acted in, she got accolades for, but she never made the money that she was supposed to make. And Tyler would just put her in stuff and just give her money, you know, give her money, you know.
Must be nice from Uncle Tyler.
Yeah. But Tyler also respected her so much. He thought she was the greatest thing on earth, you know. So he employed her all the way up until she died. You know that, right?
Right.
Like, she did about 5 or 6 of his movies, you know. So my next one, speaking of the Obamas, Michelle Obama. I had to put her on my list. What can you say about the former First Lady, or forever First Lady? She handled the position with class. She was smart. She was very involved. She wasn't someone that just had the title of First Lady. She was the First Lady. She's fierce. You know, she's going to come out with a new book. But then she was just like one of us too, because you've seen her doing stuff that you would never see First Ladies normally do. Out jumping rope and cutting up I used to love the stuff. Like she would show up on Jimmy Fallon's show, just to be doing stupid stuff on Jimmy Fallon's show, and dancing and all of that kind of stuff. You never expected that from a first lady. But anytime you see her, and like when you see her on TV, do you stop to see what she's saying?
Michelle Obama?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times.
I stop all the time because I want to hear what she has to say, because most of the time it's going to be something that you want to hear, well, all the time. I ain't going to say most of the time. I'm going to say all the time it is. So, when they were talking about a couple of years ago, she might be running for president, I was all in, man. I was all in because if anybody could do that job, she could do it.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely qualified educationally and professionally.
Yeah, that's right. She definitely could do that job. She definitely could.
Oh, Dave, you think these Trumpsters are upset now? Oh, Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
But how the right disrespected her during her time in office was a shame too. Just some of the stuff they said and
about her and him too.
Yeah,
they did. So but it doesn't matter because like I said when I started this, she's gonna be our forever first lady, and y'all they can talk about her all they want to. We know how great she is.
Right.
So okay, so that's my number 4 there.
Okay. So I'll piggyback off Michelle Obama. Kind of like I was saying, I think she's a phenomenal person. And I think she was a great role model. So, I think, so right now with all the talk regarding the Little Mermaid and all those videos that little black girls did were like, mommy, she looks like me. I think Michelle Obama was that original figure where when she got elected, and I mean, Barack too, so it was kind of like a team, a power couple, but, I feel like that was one of the times when little black girls in general can look up to her and know that, I guess one, that family structure is possible. And then 2, there can be a first lady in the White House who's not just like a trophy. She's educated. A lot of people always say, Barack Obama always says, and I mean, I know he jokes when he says that's his better half, but she is just as educated as he is. I think
if not more, not more,
right. If not more, what do you say? They met in law school, so like you already know she ain't no chump. So right. So
Ivy League law school on top of that. Yeah.
Right. So I just feel she went more the community route. He went more the political, and that's just kind of how it ended up. But just a great role model. And she was a black woman. Like she wasn't, a black woman who didn't act black. Like, she looked like she wanted to, you should give some of the people a piece of her mind, but she had more tolerance.
They try to take out her character a few times. And they tried.
And I already know behind the scenes, I know she was like, Barack, that lady say something else to me, I'm gonna smack her. I already know there were those type of conversations in the back. Yeah. So, I'll say Michelle Obama for just, being the role model she was.
Right.
The next person
that's interesting. We both had her at the same spot. That's interesting.
I mean, I really didn't have an order for these, but since you said it,
of course you were gonna, of course you were not going to say, but it came up at the same time. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Can you give me that?
All right, Dave, you got it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Go ahead.
All right. So my next person is going to be Cathy Hughes. And the reason why I like Cathy Hughes, CEO and founder of Radio One, is because, not only do I remember hearing stories like, when she first started her business, she didn't have a place to stay. And I think she said her and her daughter, I can't remember, but definitely her, she would sleep on her office floor. That's how tight money was, which I think everybody in business can kind of, relate to that at some point. But, why I like her and she's influential to me is because she took one radio station starting in DC, and grew that into a network of radio stations all over the country, and then spun off into TV One, and just being syndicated with all the stations and the networks. And I like that personally because Dave, with my business DelawareBlack.com, that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to expand the websites to multiple different cities and have one large network. Now granted, that's hard to do. I ain't make it like I wanted to, but I like how she did that. And being a Black
Granted,
woman doing it, I mean, it was just impressive. And I think it set the blueprint for a lot of people who, white or Black, who wanted to. What you said? Can you hear me? Uh-oh. Dave, can you hear me?
Still there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Man, I can. Yeah.
All right, hold on. So what was that, me or you?
You froze.
Oh, okay. Because you froze on mine. But so just to recap, Kathy Hughes, I like how she expanded from one radio station to all across the country. She got a TV network as well, and that was just kind of role model for what I wanted to do too.
Okay. All right. I'll tell you a quick story about that as far as what you just about Kathy Hughes. I never forget, this was like during the early 2000s, I think, or late. I'm on a train going to visit a friend of mine in Rhode Island, and she's listening because the train was packed. Train came up from DC, and it wasn't many seats, and I ended up sitting with this young lady, and it turned out we knew some of the same people because she knew some people in Delaware. And she asked if I knew them and so forth. And I said, oh yeah, I know that person. I know this person. So we just really kind of hit it off. Then we would talk. I said, well, where are you on your way to? She said, I'm going to Pride. I said, oh, okay. And so she started telling me about it. She said, well, first of all, have you ever listened to or heard of Radio One? Now, Radio One at that time was around, but it hadn't reached the status that it reached later on. You know what I mean? But I knew of Radio
Right.
One. Okay. At the time, it was still mainly down in DC area and some other small markets and so forth. So I was like, okay. I said, yeah, I heard of it. She said, well, my sister is Kathy Hughes. I said, Kathy Hughes? And I said, isn't that the person that started Radio One? She said, yes. And I said, oh, okay. And she said, well, we're getting ready to launch this new project where we're going to actually do something called on TV called TV One. And she said, I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know if it's going to last that long. I don't know if we're ready to launch it into TV yet. But that's what this meeting's all about, because we're going to sit down and try to figure out how we're going to get into the television market. And I just kind of chuckled and I said, well, good luck with that. Because at the time I was like, well, Oprah was, the Black woman on TV. Right. And I was like, because I remember asking, I said, are y'all teaming up with Oprah or something, to make sure it's going to work, whatever. She said, nah, we're going to be able to make it work. Lord, little did I know, they made it work. So, yeah, anyway, all right, so, wait, okay, you did your two, right? Kathy Hughes was the second one, okay. All right, so my next two, I did. Oprah Winfrey. We can't have a list without having Oprah on there.
Right.
Oprah was. Did you see the articles that there was somebody questioning Oprah's blackness? Oh, Young Miami. Did you hear
No.
about that? Talking about she indicated Oprah wasn't black.
Based on what?
And people jumped all over.
I'm sure they did.
Saying how can you say that? You don't know her history. You don't know where she came from. You see what the finished product is, but you didn't see how Oprah came up. They jumped all over that girl, man. But Oprah, of course, for people that know her story, Oprah, she worked. She put in the work. I know everybody, talks about, how rich she is and so forth, but Oprah put in the work. There was a lot of times that she was overlooked. She didn't get the money that she should have got when she first started coming up. She was too dark. She was too fat. There was a lot of stuff that was said about Oprah coming up. She was too ethnic. They try to change her look all the time. But Oprah, if you haven't said to yourself that she isn't the measuring stick for all, news media and so, even social media and all that stuff, she was it. That was Oprah Winfrey. She started it all. And she's been, when nobody was able to get those top entertainers to come on their show like Oprah would and interview them and all of that kind of stuff. So Oprah, you got to take your hat off to Oprah. Oprah is definitely, she definitely belongs on any influential list. Okay. My next one, my grandmother. You've heard me talk about my grandmother in the past. She wasn't an educated person. I think she dropped out of school. I think my mother told me when she was in the 6th or 7th grade, somewhere around there. She raised 10 children the best way she knew how. She never complained. She did whatever she had to do for her family. And everybody just loved her. And she believed in family. She wanted her family to be together. And she made sure we all knew each other. My mother's side of the family is a very large family. When I was coming up, we were always around each other. Unfortunately, I can't say that now because I have a lot of cousins I don't know, a lot of family members I don't know because it's a whole different day and time. We're not close like that. The core group that I came up with, we're all still very close, but that younger group, I can't say I know everybody. But if my grandmother was alive, she would make sure we did, because she just believed in family. She wasn't a hugger. She wasn't a kisser. She wasn't that type of person. But you knew she loved you. And you knew she cared about you. And she would do anything in the world for you. So I have to say my grandmother was the next person on my list.
Gotcha. Understood. Well, I was about to say you only get one, but sometimes you get 2 or 3. But yes.
I only had one. And that's the thing. That one, though, was enough. Where you're supposed to have 4, grandparents.
Yeah.
Yeah, technically, I only had one grandparent my whole life, and that was her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but go ahead.
Okay. So my next one, so I'm going to piggyback off of Oprah and kind of the same, Oprah was such a trailblazer. She was the first African-American daytime talk show host, and she dominated that position for so many years, which is hard to believe. It's like, okay, almost like what made Oprah different when she came in, that she could command all these white stay-at-home moms, watching TV and, just be one of the top just the top. And of course she went to HBCU, so she definitely Black. I remember her telling stories of her mom combing her hair with the hot comb, so she definitely Black. And but just kind of like what you said, she was the blueprint for any Black talk show that came up after that. And of course, spinning over to social media too. And then she's a billionaire. So like
No,
when we
yeah,
talk about self-made, she didn't get that small loan of $1 million from her her dad. She literally started, and I won't say poverty, but I mean it might have been middle income or low income, but she made everything she has via her talents, which is just impressive.
yeah, yeah. You'll never see another career like that. I mean,
Right.
she did it all. Yeah, she did it all.
And
She was,
then mhm,
look, she was our sister girl.
right.
Yeah. But go ahead.
Yeah. And then my next person is one of my swim coaches when I was in middle school, maybe even elementary school. I don't even remember what the age range was, but I just remember when I first started swimming, Dave, I was horrible. My first year, horrible. Um, I don't know if you've been to any competitions where the last person, well, they do it in track sometimes. The last person will get clapped in, like they'll clap them in as they finishing because they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I've seen. Yeah, track. Definitely
yeah.
witnessed that
So
in
so
track.
my first season swimming, I used to get clapped in a lot because I was just that far behind, you know. And so, I mean, luckily with swimming, you don't hear it all until you touch the wall and lift your head up, and people are like finishing their clap, and you're like, oh Lord, like that, I done got
Mm,
clapped in. But I remember, and I think this is one of the great things about influential people is sometimes we forget that we're not the only ones. And I say that in terms of even that year I was horrible, and after that year I got so much better. But she was always positive. You did a great job. You dropped time. You did this, and then of course she's talking about okay, like your stroke. You need to be doing this and this. Don't breathe every stroke. And it really, and I mean she was a white lady, but it really made me feel like I was the only swimmer on the team. Like I always think it's great coaches who can kind of make everybody feel special in their own way. So that's why I always remember her because she literally made me feel like I was the only swimmer on the team, and it just felt good. Because without that, I would have wanted to quit. My dad probably wouldn't have let me quit, but I probably would have wanted to. And so I think those are my two. And then I guess you got your last one and I got my last one.
right. Okay. All right. My last one, of course, has to be my mother. I know you mentioned yours already, but I had to put her at the top. She was just my everything. She was my inspiration. She was my role model. I wanted to be who she was, and um, she was. I talked about her mother not having a higher than a sixth or seventh grade education. Well, my mother was the exact opposite. My mother graduated from high school at 16 years old and was working as a domestic at the time when the person she worked for wanted to pay for her college education. But being in the middle of 10 children, my grandmother said that she couldn't go to college. She had to work because they needed the money. So she never did get a chance to go to college. My mother was a very bright person, very smart. Um, she basically raised me and my sister. Well, she became a single mother when I was about 11 years old because her and my father separated. And she basically raised us. And she taught us life lessons. I know you're a parent, you have young children, and you have a blended family. And, I know you and your wife tried to teach those lessons that you want the kids to, learn and grow with, but the kids don't receive them the way you want them to these days.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, I always like to quote, it's like parents nowadays try to make their life easier, and which is making their life harder because they don't have the skills.
Right.
But
they don't have the skills, yeah, and they don't have survival skills, and everything, so when something goes off the beaten path with kids these days, they panic because they don't know what to do. My mother made sure we knew what to do. She just made sure that everything that we needed to know about life, she told us about. Now, whether we followed the directions, that was a different story. But she told us,
mm-hmm.
And she was like your mom too. Everything, when she passed away, there was an envelope. I mean, there was a folder. Everything was in it.
Right.
She pretty much planned her funeral. Everything was in there. I mean, it was just crazy. All we had to do was just open it. She was definitely my shero. Definitely. And I couldn't ask to be born to any different woman other than her. So that's my all-time person right there.
Okay. The last person I'm going to say is my wife, Yolanda. And she is truly a go-getter. So it's always funny because when you're an entrepreneur, you think you're working hard until you meet that next person working hard, and you're like, damn, like I ain't working hard enough. And she's one of those people who is always working, always thinking ahead. And I appreciate that because I think you need to be around people who are always pushing you. And she definitely pushes me. I don't always go, but as far as being like an influence, and plus she's very intelligent, but just being an influence and be able to motivate, kind of put things in action, forward thinking, forward planning, she's definitely the one. So I appreciate her for that. And she's a big influence on my life as well.
Okay. Oh, look at Leonard. Leonard putting wifey out there like that.
Yeah.
Now you gotta make sure she listens. Then you gotta make sure she listens to the show so she can hear that.
I had to wait till next time she's mad at me, and I'll be like, "Look, listen to it now."
Yeah, you gotta have some strategy about this, right?
Yeah.
You gotta have some strategy about this thing, right?
Right.
Say, well, I want you to listen to this, and you can see how I feel about you.
Mm-hmm.
Just listen to it, okay? Of course, she probably turn it off halfway before she gets to it,
Right.
but Leonard is right, y'all. Yolanda is a go-getter, and she is somebody that definitely, she you can grab her coattail and you can go somewhere. You know what I mean? So she's that type of person. So, but way to go, Leonard. Way to big up your wife there. Okay,
yeah, right.
All right.
That's what you got to do. Because
that's what you got to do, right?
Yeah, if you don't, you be in the doghouse.
And you got to eat.
Yeah, and sleep.
Yeah. And wake up
comfortably. You
got to wake up. Look, and wake up. That's the
right.
most important thing right there. And wake up. Yeah.
You gotta be able to sleep like, have you seen that meme on social media where there's a guy and it's a close-up of him sleeping, and it says, "I finally want to fight with my wife."
Oh yes.
And then it zooms out and he's like on the sidewalk sleeping.
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty cool. Yeah. So, but this is where we are. But ladies and gentlemen, you just heard us give our top 7 influential people, of our lifetime. And as you can see, we had a mixture you know, people that everybody knows, and then people we personally have relationships with. You want to send your list of what those people. Oh, and I should say women. Okay, women of our lifetime. If you guys want to send your own personal list, let's go ahead and send it to us. We'd love to see what you would have to say about your list. After all, this is the weekend roundup, and you know, this is the time to do these type of shows and have fun with it. So thank you for taking the time to listen to us. Join us on Tuesday. We plan to have a guest. Our first pastor will be joining us. Pastor of my church, actually, Pastor Alan Jones, should be hanging with us on Tuesday, and should be real interesting. So please take the time to join in. Don't forget about our contest and our anniversary show, November the 8th. Please send those videos to us so we can go ahead and try to figure out who's going to be our co-host that day. Okay. Leonard, you got anything you want to add before we sign off?
You know, I just want to wish everybody a great weekend. I do want to just call attention to any of our Delaware people, or actually anybody listening, period. There's a Delawarean on this season's Hell's Kitchen. So, you know, if you get a chance next Thursday, 8 o'clock, make sure you watch. He was on last night. I'm not going to give no spoilers, but just make sure you watch and keep up.
Well, Delaware is making big news.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had one on Hell's Kitchen. I have to check that out. But
yes.
You saw the person that was in the finals on Big Brother.
Big Brother, yeah.
Yeah. He's from Delaware
almost had
well.
it. He almost had it.
That's what. Yeah, I know. I heard he was right there, man.
Well, you know what? When they got to the final 3, he won the competition, and he could select who he went to the finals with. There was a black girl and there was a white guy. And
I saw the 3 I saw the 3 of them.
Yeah. So he picked the black girl, and to be honest, I didn't think she'd get all the votes she got, but she did. But I mean, if he had picked the white guy to go to the finals, I mean, you know, might have been a little different.
And the black girl won, right?
She did.
Yeah. Where was she from?
I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Yeah. But I just remember, I was like, oh, okay, because I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago when I heard that he was from Delaware, and I was like, oh, okay. What tribe he from? That's what I was saying to myself. What tribe he from?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, he's young. He went to the University of Delaware. I think he's only been out.
I know. I saw that. Yeah. He's a young guy. Yeah. But I was trying to figure out who his family was, or whether his family was from here. But I don't think his family's from Delaware.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. So. But yeah, okay, cool. Delaware doing big things, y'all. Okay. So, but anyway, make sure you definitely tune in with us on Tuesday. And we thank you again for listening to our show tonight. And we'll talk to you then. Have a great weekend.
Okay.
All right.